Hello and welcome to another casting episode. And today I will show you a nice little TV2 I played recently after the start of the new patch. We will try and look at every player, but I will focus for the early game a bit on myself. Then for the most part of Feudal and Castle Age on my ally Tobict. And then we will see what enemy is doing. So first, you can see me as the blue Tethers player. On the left side, my map's very reasonable. Some of the resources and the main stone are a bit clustered in a bad area with hills, but else the map is more or less fine. Toby's map is quite open to the front, rests a bit more equally distributed, so single tower won't do too much, but he has both stones forward and quite exposed. This will play a key role later on. But else's map for the new, more open Arabia spawns are okayish, not good, but you can play with it. On to the sheep. We have Thomas, Incas in red. This map is, to be honest, pretty good. All these resources can be quite easily walled off. Also, with a bit bigger wall of the front, even super secure with a lot of space. Of course, yes, he's quite open to the side and back, but that's not too big of a problem. He could wall just to his TC then. And at last we have Amos as the Franks yellow. Also quite clustered resources like myself, but a bit more reasonable back resources and also quite okayish to wall later on. But not the best wood lines, to be fair. As you can see, I'm already starting to wall myself up quite nicely. So I'm secure at home. The plan everyone was the Tobic wanted to go Rush FC, and I would go scouts and try to harass both players as much as possible to delay them whatever they will do, and he can just go through with his Rush FC. So I wanted to make myself quite secure, walling all the sides, so I don't get problems in my base. Meanwhile, looking for the enemy, found his resources. I thought this was Berry Bush. This TC should be around here, but it's just a single tree. That's why I'm taking the big detour. Getting the boars in. In a sec we will see a bit of a scuffle around here. Enemy scouts on the way. Changing view. Yeah, he was super lucky just going to the edge of the map, right around to my position. And of course he spotted the villager. And no loom, I think, either. Yeah, but I got quite lucky. 1 HP. And the freaking Will is still alive. I should have tried to not go too close to the corner. As we all know, sometimes the scouts can attack throughout the corner. And that's enough one hit. And my poor little villager would die. Yeah, I got loom already as I'm on the way up, so I didn't fear the already weakened scout anymore at this point, so I send another villager to get the wall closed. Meanwhile, unfortunately, idling my own scout quite a lot. Now getting some extra hits in. And just going standard scout opening. Saw him going 3 on wood and nothing else so far with my scouting, even it was bad, so I was quite sure, and he's Franks, he would go just scouts himself. His starting scout got a lot of hits in the meanwhile in, so he is quite low, so I didn't fear he could stop my barracks. That's why usually I would wall in the villager, especially with already low HP, but at this point I was pretty sure that it shouldn't be a problem. Age up time wasn't the best, had a bit of idle time. Now getting his starting scout under my QC, it was really lucky. But things are going to get quite ugly on the right side from now. Walls here really questionable, should have gone a bit more, including the stone for the wall up, so he at least has more space in the back to get on stone himself. And yeah, as you all could guess, we will see an Inca Trush now. Quite interesting first tower. So what does he see? Okay, he sees the building that was built and that the years taken. He just wanted to get on them first. Normally good reaction to attack with the villagers, but Toby quite forgot that Inca wills get the blacksmith upgrades, and he already got defense upgrade, the armor, and even the attack upgrade now, so his villagers do quite a lot of damage against those normal builds. And as Toby wanted to do the fast castle play, he is quite out of breath at the moment. Not so sure if he did the Trush. Let's look at kill death ratio. He has 2 to 5. Okay, he went for the Trush. The villagers seem to have already died after doing some damage. And he lost the 2 vills here. So overall, still kinda really late uptime. Myself trying to get damage in with scouts. Got some pikes too, so they already got some nice hits on the Frank scouts, so I don't have to fear the higher HP too much. Should have taken the fight, I think. Just focusing the low HP scout at least to get it out of the way. But wanted to reinforce first. Already broke in, now super heated fight with all the villagers and the upgrades. And it's not looking good. Power helping out a bit. Blacksmith upgrades are just too good. Still looking really, really rough for Toby. Yeah, at this point, he should just go away with his villages. Build some defensive towers. Double range, I think, really bad decision. Just make one range and blacksmith. Or you get fletching in way faster. Even more towers. Already really bad position. think at this point he really should just rush the tower. Because he has his own tower to defend against any villagers attacking. And there comes the next wave of villagers from the Inca player. And now he is out of stone. I think the Inca player, nah, he didn't got fletching. So he should have rushed with villagers before the new wave showed up. But meanwhile, now I will get in some juicy attacks on Red, getting revenge for my teammate. And I think Red is so busy microing, doing the tower stuff, he isn't realizing for a really long time what's happening in his base. So he's losing a lot of villagers, almost let that one live, but got back. So he's now down pretty heavy in vill numbers. Sending more villagers to stone still. Yeah, he's super busy with the tower stuff around here. Not realizing at all. Getting cleaned up. Meanwhile, unfortunately, yellow up on his way to Castle Age before me. I even getting forging now. That was a bad decision, I think. Not only, I think I'm sure it was a bad decision. Should have, yeah. Hadn't done it, I would have been up like only 10% later than yellow, but with getting forging against those freaking endurable villages, I quite delayed myself a bit. I tried a Hera snipe but was too slow, and now he has 2 villagers left in his base. And there's nothing else left here. And everything else is forward. So around 8 villagers for Red forward, 2 in his space, so he's down to 12. While Toby is still sitting in a comfortable 31, slinging Toby on my stone so he can do a counter tower to protect his buildings woodline. Coming in with the scouts even to try and help, but I wasn't fast enough, so he got the tower up and now I'm fighting between towers. Was quite a bad decision, especially with defense upgrade not even in. But I think I get at least, yeah, 4 extra villagers of the forward ones, so it was worth it, I would say. Meanwhile, I'm still walling up quite nicely at home. At the moment my KD looks pretty damn good, 25-9. But Red also got a lot of kills, as you can see. 23-25, and he never had to fight military except a couple of archers. So most of the kills are Toby's villages. He did damn good with his Inca Trush. And it's a giant corridor of towers protecting each other. He's now denying secondary gold, all stones, not a secondary gold, and only this primary gold is left for Toby. Yellow going out with his knights, and of course I'm feathers, so I'm mixing in the camels. But unfortunately we're passing each other, so nothing much to do. Scout here after Overchop got that stuff done, or so? No, not even Overchop, just scouting and getting killed by pikes. I have to look out for Overchops myself. Now on 2 TCs, Frank's players still on 1. So that's good for me. And also 3 stables that are not really producing at the moment, as my food eco isn't strong enough. But I just wanted the amount so I can produce later. As you can see, the extra sheep, I just ignored them, I think, all game. As at this point, it's already more farming game. Gotten in and still trying to break the gate to get more units in the future was kind of a mad decision. Also, he got me to focus with my units quite bad, take bad engagements. +1/+2 versus +1/+2, so even upgrades, but at the moment bad numbers, bad control groups. Was too focused with walling against his units. But now getting the numbers up slowly, and especially trying to focus on the camels. Should give me a slight advantage against the Franks player. He's not adding a monastery. And there it happened. We had kind of a little pause war, you can see it in the rec. And after it ended, somehow Toby deleted his town center and everything got really exciting all over again. He had no way to get on stone, so has to buy it at some point for his new town center. He has quite a resources, so he really should just buy stone at this point. Unfortunately, I'm not on stone either, and I slung him all my 200 starting stone. Had to buy my second TC myself. At this point, I was a bit too occupied with the Stannon monastery, not reacting fast enough, losing camels to those knights even, getting chased away. So, Yellow did quite good in just attacking single camels and me not reacting accordingly. I'm super bad with realizing attack sound stuff. And meanwhile he is attacking Toby with his other knights. So that was really bad, so I had to stop my attacks on this front and send everything upwards at some point to clear space. Toby was also very late in telling me that he is totally getting destroyed by knights. So now at this point he is down to 30 villagers, trying to secure them. I bought stone and slung it to him, but he has a market and could have bought the stone all the time himself. So I'm quite confused why he didn't it. If he had a town center, the knights wouldn't have been a real problem. So now he's down to 4 freaking villagers. And bajillion archers. They're just here. So now he builds a TP again. And I'm focusing on destroying the towers and getting good camel numbers up. And adding the third TC. Franks player is now also adding his TCs. So yeah, he has pretty damn good resources, way too much wood, and I don't get why he didn't bought the stone. It's super inefficient that I bought 200 stone and sent it to him, as I don't have any upgrades for resource sling. Even slung him wood, as I thought he doesn't have any resources, because he didn't bought stone or anything else with it. So yeah, he got a bit salty. So that was... Now in retrospective, it's really odd that he just didn't bought this stone himself. It was just a waste of resources for me and him in the end. And it got the knight player in the position, so it was impossible for him to almost defeat him. At least Red still also very far behind. Now I'm trying to get another raid in, but didn't focus enough, was a bit slow now, I'm just destroying houses at this point. So Red is now fleeing with most of his stuff. Now my camel numbers wide-eye, but camels are pretty bad at killing buildings. He's going for the monk defense. And I'm going for the... Okay, you got a lot of conversions, I'm out now. At least got all the red villager, not even all. Two left. Military numbers should be way higher than yellow at the moment, but now he got raid in thanks to an overshot. And I'm losing villagers left and right. At this point, I'm only 10 villagers ahead now. Not even anymore. I think after this raid... oh no, I could hold the 10 villager advantage more or less. As I got into raid myself now. So at this point we're even in damage done, and I'm again quite ahead. So that's nice. But as always, this overchop just was super bad. I already made sure I don't overchop the top wood line and made a pretty damn good job about it. But then I forgot the one below and gave them a chance to come back, at least yellow. But Toby and Red are more or less equally dead at this point, even with Toby having some crossbows. And now he's getting far ahead again against Red, who I think he just gave up at some point. Not rebooming at all. But yellow is trying his best, but at this point it's already more or less GG. And I don't know why yellow kept himself in so long. Problem was he put down all his castles, so I just couldn't finish him off even with my giant military lead. So I had to wait for Imperial Age and the appropriate siege weapons. Got some defensive castles up on the hills myself to secure my base against more raids. He did a really good job with just parking his one knight on the gold. That was done pretty well. Now Imperial Age in for us both. I think I'm a bit low on, yeah, had a bit too few stone income for my forward castle. Now we decided that it's just a 1v1, more or less, and Red doesn't play any role in this game anymore. He is so super dead. And Toby would have to need a bit more time to get army and stuff rolling, but I already had big army lead, so I told him he should just sling me at this point, so I get a bit more upgrades. I was below on gold, and stuff isn't that cheap in him, if it's about gold cost. So I will just go full unit spam, siege, all the good stuff. We'll speed it up even more, because it's so super over, but yellow, you will see, it's really stubborn and giving in. So focusing the castle, making sure he can't escape to this side and attacking now from the inside. I don't even care for this castle, just wanted to kill eco and farms and stuff, getting him to attack me. Yep. Just destroying his TCs. I don't care much for the Chevaliers. Now, Toby dropped, so his router had a restart, and at this point, it's not the worst that it happened, and I think that gave yellow the opinion he could try now that they are quote-unquote 2v1 again. But Red is just so dead still. He's now trying to reboom at Toby's base. Don't care for shit anymore. Just destroying castles production now. Going for the Kashik switch, so I can create gold if needed. But now they gave up, so it's all over. And yeah, quite a wild game. It switched from 1v2 to 2v1 from each side during the games. A lot of really unfortunate stuff happening, like leading your TC during some odd happening with pausing stuff, and then even dropping was super unfortunate for Toby, so he didn't have really any fun in this game. He got trushed and attacked by the knights from my guy. So that was really unfortunate. Nice little will save in the beginning, as you may have saw, and quite happy with the castle positions I took, the unit composition I went for, and most of the fights I took. Some bad micro during it all, but all in all, quite decent play. Especially, I think what saved us was the fact that Red was so occupied with the Trush that I could just destroy all his eco. He had 2 farmers left only. Super bad will production. And only the wills forward. So he was even more dead than Toby. At this point, I think we would have won quite convincingly during early Castle Age if Toby hadn't deleted his TC by accident or with a bug. We don't really know what happened. And from then on, it got quite exhausting to play for me again, as I had to try and keep yellow down so he wouldn't surpass me in eco and still help out Toby. Getting towers up, defending against knights and stuff. Then he oddly chose to let me sling him stone the moment I got it, instead of buying it himself and building a TC to make sure his wills have a safe haven. But yeah, that was an odd decision. And then, thanks to Red's really bad reboom approach, it got into a quite favorable 1v1 point for me. Some big raid, lowering my eco, especially on my way up to Imp, so I had problems affording all the upgrades on the spot. But then got the counter raid in myself, so got equal again, and then just flooding, getting a bit of sling for Toby to get faster into siege ramps and upgrades and stuff. And then he dropped finally again, so really wild one. Still hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. See you next time.